Hello, Shahzad, Sheikh, Motoring Middle East, and I'm at the wheel of a Cadillac ATS Coupe. This is the 3.6 litre V6, puts out about 320 horsepower and 275 pounds-foot of torque. Good for 0 to 100 in about 5.6 seconds and about 234 kilometers per hour top speed. Now, Imtishan drove this car at the launch here in the UAE, in Ras Al Khaimah in fact, and he did a review at the time which you'll find on motoringme.com, and he also did a video walk around of the car which you'll find also on motoringme.com and also on our YouTube channel, YouTube/Motoring Middle East. But I haven't driven the car yet, so I thought what I'll do is I'll just take it for a drive. So let's go straight out. These start at 195,000 dirhams, I believe, and I reckon this is probably the premium edition, and I think these are about 205. Like I said, V6 sounds good, huh? This is in sport mode at the moment. I have been driving it around for a few days, in fact nearly a week now, and I find the sport mode on smoother surfaces is a little bit bouncy, and actually I prefer to just leave it in the touring mode. But this road is a little bit short, sharp, a bit more fun, so the sports mode should come into its own on this sort of road. Now, I have driven these before. I've driven the ATS. In fact, I drove the ATS Saloon back at the launch, I think it was a couple of years ago, and that was at Yas Marina, and drove it on the circuit. Was extremely impressed with the car. You know, I thought it was on par with anything that Europe can produce. Quite obviously, the BMW 3 Series, which is the car that it's very squarely aimed at, and I thought it could be, you know, there or thereabouts. I drove that, and I drove the 2.5 4-cylinder as well as the 3.6 V6 in that car as well. At the time, I remember thinking the only downside I found was that the 6-speed gearbox left to its own devices I thought wasn't as good, especially if you're really pushing on. I think they've done something to it. I think the mapping on this one is a lot better. You know, you can see it kicks down when you want it to, changes down when you want it to, it's back on the power again. But having said that, I think I still prefer when I'm doing this sort of thing in this car, everyday driving, leave it in automatic. But on this thing, push it over to the left and start to use these paddles. This has got proper paddles. I like these proper metal things around the steering wheel. None of the plastic stuff that seem to be profiligating in most cars at the moment. But it is so, the brakes are tremendous. There you go, now I can hold it on the power as I want to, back on the brake but keeping it in gear. Response is surprisingly good. Steering could do with a bit more feel for a sports car, but for this sort of car, it's there or thereabouts. It's pretty accurate though, very responsive, very well weighted as well, so no real complaints at all really. And the handling, very, very good. Gives you a lot of confidence. There is a lot of ability in this car. There's a lot of grip and road holding in this car. Forgive me, I should have secured my bag a little bit better. It's flopping around there in the passenger footwell. I hope my camera's okay. But look at this, look at the poise, look at the turning. This is actually a fun car to chuck around on a road like this. Really, really good. Just knocked you up. There you go. Coming up behind a slow moving, what is that, a Yaris? I think so, yes. And you know, a little bit of a breather perhaps. Well, let's see what's around this corner, if I can get past. Yes, I can. And yeah, I mean, good response, good torque. I would have done with just a little bit more there, but then, you know, you always want a little bit more, don't you? Especially in a car which has a good chassis, as this clearly does, and is quite capable, I reckon, of handling more than a little bit more actually, and which of course all bodes very well, because this is going to be, well, there's going to be a new launch coming very, very soon this year, hopefully, which of course is the V version of this car, which I think is a V6, but it's a twin turbocharged V6, and it's going to be packing a huge load of power in that car. It also bodes well for another reason, and that reason is, of course, as a lot of you will know, this car forms the foundation for the next Camaro. So as a sports car, I think it's already got it licked. This car is a good sports car with a little bit of tuning, a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit of changing around with the dampers and stuff, I think this could be an excellent sports car. So in that sense, I think the Camaro is going to hit the ground running, really, quite literally, so to speak. And this should be a fantastic platform on which to build that. Back to the ATS though, you know, like I said, I've been driving this car for nearly a week now, and I've been struggling to find anything that I don't like about this car. Even the gearbox, it's an automatic gearbox, 6-speed. I think probably it'll be getting an uprated gearbox soon. Everybody's getting in the way of, you know, 7, 8, 9-speed gearboxes. But this one is quite good. It works quite well. I think with the paddles, it's good fun to work with. What I like about it, it's got a proper lever, and when I say proper lever, it's got proper notches. So none of these electronic lever nonsense that I get so confused with. This one is absolutely fine, no confusion whatsoever. Makes total sense to me. Just want to throw it through here. Look at that. Great grip on this thing. A lot of confidence, oozes confidence. But also a lot of finesse, a lot of style, a lot of elegance. I really do like the way this car looks. I've got a maroon car here. Hopefully I'll put up some pictures in this video and also on the review on motoringme.com, and you'll be able to see. It's a very handsome looking car. Not quite as space age radical as, for example, the CTS Coupe was, or the previous CTS Coupe, but pretty striking nonetheless, and very elegant, very handsome. Certainly something that you wouldn't be shy about parking in the executive car park. Space-wise, comfort-wise, I have no issues at all slowing down because we're now in the village. I have no issues at all. 6'2" plus frame, very comfortable in this car, loads of room. Leg room, elbow room, not an issue. This, of course, is a 2+2, and a 2+2, I would say, because there's a sort of center console thing there. No armrest that folds down on this, strangely, but certainly a center console thing that has 2 cup holders in it. Having said that, the kids were extremely comfortable back there. I have had both of the kids riding in the back of this car, no complaints, and I myself decided to try and get into the seat behind my seat. Of course, it's set for me and my height, to see if I could fit in there. And in fact, I'm somewhat astonished to report that no issues whatsoever with leg room or foot room or knee room. You know, it's not lavishly spacious, but it's quite comfortable. The only issue that I personally had was with the headroom, because of the sloping rear roof does rob me a bit of headroom. But otherwise, you imagine it's probably the same interior legroom space or the same wheelbase as the ATS Saloon, and that's not a bad car at all. The only other problem with the rear compartment is getting in and out. This seat doesn't go automatically forward when you do that, and there's a seat belt that comes across the door, so it can be a bit tricky getting in and out, and you need to be perhaps a tad flexible in order to do that. Up front here, it's got all the Cadillac stuff that we're now familiar with, the Q system, which is great and very easy to work with. I think they've been improving it. It's becoming more intuitive, more easy to use, or perhaps I'm just getting used to it. I do like the half moon analog dials that they have in this car, combined very cleverly with a digital screen that is configurable. So, adaptive cruise control, what else can I tell you? It's got Brembo brakes, Magna Ride suspension, anything else that I noted down worth talking about? Heads-up display, yeah, I love these heads-up displays. 50-50 weight balance is another thing to keep in mind, which of course should lead to the ideal handling as we saw back on that road. Not too heavy a car, 1600 kilogram, again bodes well for the forthcoming Camaro. Going back to the display, yeah, I do like heads-up display. It's full color and it gives you directions when you're using the sat nav. So, I like it. This is a great car. I think it's good value for money, considering that it is aimed at premium European metal. I think in that sense it does really well for what it is. Love it. Put it at the top of your list. Go check it out. Well worth a test drive, and potentially buying one. Full review on motoringme.com. Please do check us out there, and also through our social media, especially on Facebook. We do a lot of stuff there. Facebook.com/Motoring Middle East. Same goes for Instagram and Twitter. Just type in Motoring Middle East, and also for YouTube. And if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Also, like I said, we have reviews, launch review on this car on motoringme.com and on YouTube. On motoringme.com, we also have reviews of the ATS Saloon, both the launch review and subsequent reviews of the 2.5 litre as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time. Testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, can you hear me? I'm at a Cadillac. I'm going to be driving a Cadillac today. I don't know if that one's working, but can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see.